Greetings, everyone. Welcome to episode 122. So good to be with you in this moment, right now, Monday, just after 12 p.m. Eastern. When you're entering, if you could please share where you're from, where you're tuning in today, this morning, this afternoon, this evening. Great to see our community growing, both in numbers and in passion and inspiration. Great to see our community be so international. Really, something that kind of put me in notoriety was a piece that I wrote called it was actually called Love is a New Religion originally. It was in my book, The Big Glow. So if you have my book, The Big Glow, or if you get my book, The Big Glow, you'll see a piece in the beginning called Love is the New Religion. It also went viral. People used different titles on it, like The Spiritual Conspiracy, as that phrase is in there, and other names. And so as that piece went viral, what people really felt, what people were really inspired by, was a sense that we're a global community. Even though we don't all know each other's names, we don't know each other's faces, there's this global community of people around the world that are connected at the level of the heart, that are feeling called, feeling inspired to imbue this world with love, with peace, with freedom, with empowerment, with joy, with bliss, with ecstasy, with authenticity, coming from the genuine essence of who and what we really are, and expressing it in this world together. So to see that happening here, to see people writing me from Uganda, and people writing me from Pakistan, and people writing me from France and Spain and the United States of America and Brazil and Canada and Australia and New Zealand, that we're all connected here, and that we come from different places, we have different names, we have different faces, we have different personalities, we have different cultures. We each express ourselves in unique ways, right? UK, exactly. Germany, exactly. And yet, there's something that unites us. There's something that unites us. And when we come here together, we can feel that. And beyond anything else, anything that I say, or any specific piece of knowledge, or specific piece of wisdom, or specific piece of information or insight, that recognition and that realization that we are not alone, that you are not alone, and that you never have been alone, and you never will be alone. That recognition and that realization that we're a part of something, we're a part of something that is so beautiful. Something that is so interconnected that even to say interconnected doesn't really accurately state the truth. It's so unified that there's no sense of separation or borders or boundaries at all. There's this sense, this realization that when I look at you, and this is the essence of love that I speak about here, this realization that when I look at you, I see myself. I look into your eyes I see my own eyes. I look into your heart. I feel my own heart. My feelings are your feelings. My thoughts are your thoughts. So this realization is the essence of love that's so deep, that's so profound. It transcends any romance novel or pop song. Any movie. You know, it's so intrinsic and essential. It's such an intrinsic, essential essence of who and what we are. So then, just walking down the street, you know, you're taking in the details of what's before you. You're present, you're here, you're now. A friend was saying last night, to be fully saturated by it. We actually had snow here this weekend, which was very exciting. I'd say we get snow just 2 or 3 times a year here in Asheville, North Carolina. And so the snow is, what's beautiful about the snow is that it's this unifying movement. In other words, we can think like we're all so different here. We have so many different thoughts. Nobody thinks like I do. Nobody feels what I feel. Nobody looks like I look. Nobody's experiencing the hardships that I am. You know, nobody's experiencing the difficulties in the relationship that I am. You know, we can create all these scenarios to separate ourselves from others, right? But when it snows, it's like this great moment that we're all experiencing it together. It's snowing. Look, it's snowing. Did you see? You know, we're all experiencing it at the same time together, right? So there's that feeling of a unified shared experience. And my friend last night was saying, when the snow came, he was fully saturated by it. He said, whatever experience is arising, be fully saturated by it. So what does that mean? It means when you experience the snow first falling, the first few flakes, you know, the first glimmer of the snowfall, or when you first wake up and see the sun rising up over the horizon, or maybe the sun glistening through the treetops, you know, in the twilight hours before nightfall. Maybe the way the light just kind of glimmers across the grass in the open meadow. Whatever is arising in this moment, be fully saturated by it. Be fully saturated by it means you feel it fully, wholly, and completely. Every cell of your being, down to the deepest depths of yourself. The energy just fully wash over you and move through you and out. And then you're in this flow of life. You're in the energy. You're in the energy of life. You're in the flow. You're one with the Tao. One with the divine. An open, clear channel for Source, Spirit, God to move through you in this moment. And it all can start with feeling the first glimmer of snowfall, you know, or looking at a tree, or looking at the grass. You don't have to understand what you're seeing. You don't have to figure out what you're experiencing. You just have to experience it. Be fully saturated by it. Be fully saturated by it. Be fully saturated by what's arising in an unconditional relationship. So one of the points that is really important that we try to make here, that I try to make here, is that I do make here, not even trying, it's happening right now, is that good and bad, pleasurable and painful, positive and negative, these things oscillate, yin and yang, right? And when you fully embrace them as they arise, there's a transcendent quality of that which transcends both, which is the essence of who and what we are, the unchanging essence of who and what we are, the awareness itself. What's sometimes called emptiness, stillness, spaciousness, vastness, God, Spirit, the I am, presence. So when you fully embrace what's here, when you're fully saturated by it, there's that transcendent quality, and then creativity flows through you. Now you're one with what is, which means you're one with God, which means you're one with Spirit, which means you're one with Source, Buddha nature, one with Allah, one with life. Life is here. Life is now. Be fully saturated by it. And then poetry moves through you, music moves through you, dance moves through you, new ideas move through you, new imaginings move through you, new dreams, new visions move through you, new new frontiers, yeah, like frontiers of love move through you. So it's like a gateway to everything opens. This doorway to everything opens. All these latent potentialities inside us, when we allow ourselves to be fully saturated by what's here. Just like the first few snowflakes falling, like my friend described last night, be fully saturated by it. The simplicity of what's here and what's now, to be fully saturated by it. And it doesn't have to look soft or gentle. It doesn't have to be sensitive. It is whatever it is. And that's the amazing thing, is what is alive, what is here, what is now, transcends our beliefs, our thoughts, the limitations of our mind. So thinking is limited. Thinking, for what I'm talking about, is a useful tool, but it's a secondary tool. What we're pointing at lies beyond thought, lies beyond thinking. So if you think you understand what I'm talking about, you don't. I can assure you. I don't understand what I'm talking about either. There's a presence that's here now. It's not like this. Oh, now I got it. It's like this. Now I've lost everything. Now there's nothing left. It's like that. You start this spiritual search, this spiritual journey, and you think you're going to get something. You're going to, whatever you think it is, and we can put all kinds of labels on what we think, the name of what that is. But this amazing realization of like, oh, I'm actually not going to get anything. I'm actually going to lose everything. I don't feel the impulse to address specific questions right now, but if you just follow deep into what's being pointed at here, every specific question is answered. Like there's a general vibrational frequency, there's a general awakening of consciousness that, if it's felt, addresses every specific question that we're dealing with or that's arising. And in so many ways, this is not, the ego doesn't like this answer, but it's the answer. In so many ways, there's something I used to say to people a lot, which is, what if the answer to every question is the absence of the question? What if the answer to every question is the absence of the question? So what that means is, when our mind quiets, when our heart opens, when we're fully saturated by this moment, when we're fully present, when we're fully here, when we're fully in love with what is right now, there's no questions. Except basic question like, I'm hungry. What is there to eat in the refrigerator? Or, I want to go for a walk. Is it cold outside? These kind of basic functional questions, and the mind is like, but there's so much space in the mind. And you can ask more high tech questions as well, but point is, what we don't realize when we're lost in the mind is that we think somebody else or some situation or some circumstance or some condition outside of us is creating our suffering. But when the mind quiets, what we realize is it was our mind, our beliefs, our thoughts, our ideas. First and foremost, most fundamentally, our ideas about ourself, our limiting beliefs about ourself. Which is why this question, who are you, is so fundamental. Who are you? Are you who you think you are? Are you who you believe yourself to be? So that question, and the answer to that question, is the root of all these other questions. So if there was only the moment or only the option, which may be a good thing, to only ask yourself one question and to know the answer, to realize the answer to one question, It's who are you? And to recognize and realize yourself as that which is unlimited. So let's just sit for a moment together. Just being present, just being here, just being saturated by this moment. It's nothing you need to do, it's nothing you need to think about right now, it's nothing you need to discover, there's nothing you need to know, there's no doing it right or doing it wrong, there's no being good or being bad, there's no positive thoughts or negative thoughts, there's just, for now, just being here together. All that can come back later, whenever you'd like. But just for a moment, just being here together now and allowing everything to be exactly as it is. Thank you all so much for being here. Let's carry this energy forward together for the rest of the day. Check out the links below to delve in deeper. Stay connected. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be here tomorrow for the next episode, 3 p.m. Eastern, so 3 hours later. 3 hours later tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm not going to go through all the transitions in your different time zones, but 3 p.m. Eastern with special guest. Sometimes I have guests. Tomorrow we have a guest. Special guest, Robin Lynn. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. See you in the next now.